Hello, everybody. We're going to talk about how to handle conflict. This is Sarah K Ramsey, and here to find love success after a toxic relationship so you bounce back better. And I have a rainy day at home. My little girl's sick, actually, downstairs. You can see her little dollhouse in the background. So I'm like hiding upstairs in the bonus room because when she's sick, she gets to watch TV. So she's watching Netflix downstairs. But I came off of Power of Self conference this past week, and we talked about conflict resolution, and I geek out about conflict resolution. I heart it. I love it. I love all the things about bringing two people who have disagreements together, okay? But when you have a toxic relationship or a toxic person who you are trying to negotiate with, trying to navigate life with, whether it be partner, parent, sibling, it can be incredibly difficult because it's like they keep flipping the rules on you, flipping the game on you. Always one day they're mad about this, one day they're mad about that. One day this is okay, one day that's not okay. One day, it feels like the game keeps changing and you end up walking on eggshells, right? We've all heard the term walking on eggshells. And this lovely little chart, which you see my notes. They talk about, you see my little notes right here, backwards because I'm on the screen. Okay, so this is results, and this is relationship. So results, relationship, okay? And here you have avoiding. Avoiding doesn't help the results and doesn't help the relationship. And the worst one, which we're all familiar with, is competing, which that is what toxic people tend to do. Sometimes they can avoid and they stonewall us so they have control and they don't have to answer our questions or don't give us any feedback. But a lot of time it's competing, right? And it's, oh, how dare you? How could you? They power over you, okay? And when you're competing with someone trying to resolve a conflict and competing, some of you have to do this for work, right? A contract negotiation, or you're a salesman, which that's really bad salesmanship anyway. But, some of you have, are in situations where you have to involve some type of competition or competing to get results that you want. That is a bad place for a personal relationship, right? That's a bad place when it's your mom. It's a bad place when it's your kid. It's a bad place when it's your husband. It's a bad place when it's your brother. Bad place when it's your sister, right? And they are obviously more interested when they're using competition in getting the result they want rather than the relationship they want. And my guess is you are down here. This little blue square talks about accommodating. And when I took my test score, I'm very high in accommodating because I'm like, the relationship is always more important to me than being right, having to have my way, and then some things, I have to be result oriented as far as my business, major decision with kids, something like that. But for the most part, I live right here in accommodating land, which is all about the relationship and limited on the result. But you can imagine what happens in a toxic relationship when they are all about the result and getting what they want and they're willing to compete for it. And then your default, which my guess is similar to mine, is down here at accommodating. Well, it's not that big of a deal. Well, I'll get my way next time. Well, okay. And when two people are trying to have a relationship and one's always focused on results and competing to get those results, and one person's always more focused on the relationship, you can start to get used, right? You definitely start to feel used. And that's where the term walking all over. So then we can fall into avoidance because we think, oh, I'm never going to get my way anyway. Well, it's not worth the fight. Well, I'll just think about it tomorrow because we're so tired. You also have collaborating, which is awesome, and what we want to do. Two heads are better than one. And compromising, which is, okay, maybe you get your turn this time, I'll get my turn next time, or something like that. But I hope this is a good visual for you to see if you are in constant conflict with someone and they are all about competing to get the result and you are all about accommodating to preserve the relationship. what's happening within that relationship and why you do feel like it's never your turn, or why you do feel like you're never going to get your way. This is the language they speak, and I always want you to stay safe. I'm not saying, put yourself in a dangerous situation, but competing to get the result they want is the language they speak. You keep trying to speak in, if I accommodate them long enough, then they will want to do something nice for me to foster the relationship. That is not the language toxic people speak. They speak in competitiveness, so I'm going to get my way, or I'm going to avoid you, stonewall you, not talk to you, refuse to talk about it so I can get my way. Either way, they end up getting their way, and you end up giving in. Okay? You've got to reset that dynamic. You've got to reset that dynamic to have a healthy relationship, both with yourself and with others, because you want it to be balanced, right? The relationship is important and the result is important. Sometimes you get your way and sometimes they get their way. But if they are always getting their way, I think that chart will help you understand why, understand how your natural personality of, oh, it's not that big of a deal, well, it's okay, which mine is too. I scored 100%, incredibly high on the accommodating, because most things aren't that big of a deal. Now, there's some things that are a big deal, and I'm willing to go to the mat for those things now. But for a long time, it was easier to make everything not a big deal rather than go after what I want. Fight, compete. Oh, I hate the word fighting, but even though I love conflict management, it's kind of weird. But I love it because to prevent fighting, to make sure everyone's got a seat at the table, everyone's voice can be heard, and that it's fair. I want things to be fair. I want your life. I know, as we tell kids all the time, life is not fair, but I want it to be more fair. And if they're always getting their way and you're always giving in, it is not fair. They are absolutely getting the better end of the deal in that relationship. So I hope that helps. If I can help you any further, and you're not in my working with me privately or in my Wonder Woman program, then you need to go to www.sarahkramsey.com/contact. Yes, that's right, /contact. And let's chat soon. Bye.